Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Grave of the Fireflies. And this movie came out in 1988, and I've always heard that this movie was good. I just went into it with an open mind, knowing very little about it. I just heard that it was good, and it was a film that I believe was involved with Studio Ghibli, but they don't own the rights to it or something. And trying to find this movie can be difficult. I believe it's currently only available to watch on Netflix. So if you want to watch this movie, that's where you would check it out. And I really loved this movie, and I just thought it was very powerful. Like an anti-war film is what I took away from it, and really great drama on top of that. The music for this movie was great, and complemented every scene that the music was present in, and even the scenes that don't have any music are very effective for me. And whenever our two main leads are attacked by dropping bombs or whatever, it's always very effective and intense. And there's very little hope for these little kids who are just stuck in the middle of a horrible situation. And they're just trying to survive in this environment, and it's incredibly difficult to do that. I love how, in ways, that this movie is kind of detached and cold. And that's kind of how I felt with a lot of the characters, like side characters who are just like looking out for themselves. And I liked that about the movie. It added to the world that this movie was taking place in, and it felt natural, like these characters would naturally be that way. And just about every single choice in this movie had purpose that not only worked for my own personal experience, but also added to the story, I feel. Like everything feeds into itself, and it's a very emotional experience, to say the least. And it does take some routes that I wasn't quite expecting. And this movie isn't necessarily a fast-paced film, if you ask me, although it is very short. It's like an hour and a half, and it flies by, basically, but it does really take its time for you to soak everything in. It works. It's a film that just works. Beautiful animation, I don't want to forget about that. I love the design for everything, and what was able to be captured with it being an animated movie. And this is a film, I feel, that it's not a kid's movie at all. So just because it's animated, don't get confused with it being a kid's movie, because I wouldn't recommend this to kids. It might be a bit too much, and this is also a very sad movie. And this movie isn't really that violent, despite bombs being dropped next to our main characters, and they just narrowly avoid it. There isn't really any blood, or at least not from memory. Like, I barely remember any blood in the movie at all. The characters in this movie are also very well defined. You understand who they are and where they're coming from. And the movie does kind of communicate passage of time in a way through dialogue. And in any other movie, it would just feel like, it would just be a bit lazy to just say how much time has passed rather than just communicating that through visuals. But it just naturally comes up in conversations that make sense for the characters, which is why it works for me. And I also kind of like how certain characters represent something to other characters. I don't want to say anything else. I know that sounds incredibly vague and possibly very confusing, but that's the best way I can describe it without spoiling anything. And that's about all I have to say about Grave of the Fireflies. It was excellent, loved everything about it, and when I was done with the movie, I just felt like I really can't think of anything that I didn't like about the movie. I'm sure I could probably nitpick a couple things, but aside from that, like, there really just wasn't anything to complain about. It was just a movie that works on basically every level, and it achieves everything that it wants to. It hits the emotional beats very well. It doesn't waste any time. The characters are great and likable. And what else do you need? So check this movie out whenever you get the chance. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Grave of the Fireflies a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Grave of the Fireflies, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for City of God. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.